The ancient world, a place of mystery, of grandeur, of civilizations lost to time. But some stories refuse to be forgotten, echoes in the sand carried by the wind. This is the story of one such echo. The Nile, the lifeblood of Egypt, flows eternally just as it did millennia ago. On its banks, a powerful civilization flourished, ruled by pharaohs considered to be divine. But their chronicles whisper of a time when a woman, defying all odds, claimed the mantle of Egypt's ruler. Her name was Hatshepsut, a name that resonates with power, ambition, and an enigma that continues to fascinate us. Born into a world dominated by men, she dared to seize control, to become a pharaoh in her own right. Her reign, a beacon of prosperity and peace, forever changed the landscape of ancient Egypt. The desert sands hold secrets, whispers, of a time when gods walked among mortals. The Egyptians believed their pharaohs were divine, chosen by the gods to rule. But what happens when the chosen one is not a man, but a woman? Hatshepsut's story is not just about her reign, but about the woman behind the crown. How did she, in a patriarchal society, ascend to the highest position of power? What challenges did she face? What sacrifices did she make? And why, after decades of ruling as pharaoh, was her legacy seemingly erased? For centuries, her story remained buried, her monuments defaced, her name stricken from official records. But the desert remembers. And slowly, painstakingly, archaeologists and historians are piecing together her story, revealing the truth behind the legend. Born a princess, Hatshepsut's life was destined for greatness. Her father, Thutmose I, a powerful pharaoh, recognized her intelligence and ambition. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Upon Thutmose I's death, the throne passed not to Hatshepsut but to her half-brother, Thutmose II, a son of a lesser wife. Still a child, Thutmose II needed guidance, a steady hand to rule. That hand belonged to Hatshepsut. As regent, Hatshepsut excelled. She managed the affairs of state, oversaw trade, and appeased the gods. But ambition, like a seed buried deep, began to take root. The whispers started, questioning why a woman, even one as capable as Hatshepsut, should rule from the shadows. Hatshepsut governed with wisdom and grace. She understood the delicate balance of power, the ebb and flow of the Nile mirroring the complexities of ruling Egypt. Under her guidance, the kingdom prospered, trade flourished, temples rose, and the people thrived. Yet whispers of discontent began to circulate like the desert wind. Some resented a woman holding the reins of power. Thutmose II, though young, grew increasingly restless under Hatshepsut's control. He craved the authority he believed was rightfully his. Hatshepsut, ever the strategist, recognized the growing tension. She knew she couldn't hold on to power indefinitely by force. She needed a more permanent solution, one that would solidify her rule and silence her detractors. Hatshepsut was not just a shrewd politician, she was a master of propaganda. She understood the power of imagery, of shaping the narrative to legitimize her claim to the throne. And so she began a calculated campaign to solidify her position. She aligned herself closely with the priests of Amun, the most powerful deity in the Egyptian pantheon. She showered the temples with gifts, funded grand festivals, and commissioned magnificent statues depicting her divine lineage. Hatshepsut presented herself as the chosen one, the earthly embodiment of Amun's divine will. Her lineage, she claimed, was not merely royal, but divine. She was the daughter of Amun, chosen to rule Egypt, not by right of birth, but by the will of the gods. The tale of Hatshepsut's divine birth spread like wildfire through the kingdom. It was a story carefully crafted to appeal to the Egyptian people's deep-seated religious beliefs. According to the legend, Amun, disguised as Thutmose I, visited Hatshepsut's mother, Queen Ahmose. Amun, captivated by Ahmose's beauty and grace, chose her to bear his divine child. Hatshepsut, therefore, was not merely a princess, she was a demigod, destined for greatness. This narrative served to legitimize her claim to the throne in the eyes of the people. Hatshepsut, never one to miss an opportunity, ensured this tale was immortalized in stone, carved into the very walls of her temple complexes. Her propaganda campaign was a masterpiece. a testament to her understanding of the human psyche and her unwavering ambition. With the support of the priesthood and the people secured, Hatshepsut made her boldest move. In a lavish ceremony, she declared herself Pharaoh of Egypt, taking on all the titles and regalia traditionally reserved for male rulers. She adopted the traditional pharaoh's kilt, the ceremonial beard, and even took on a male name, Matkare. Her transformation was complete. Hatshepsut, the woman who had once ruled from the shadows, was now the undisputed ruler of Egypt. Her reign, though unconventional, marked a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity for Egypt. She launched ambitious building projects, expanded trade routes, and reasserted Egypt's dominance in the region. Hatshepsut, like many pharaohs before her, understood the power of monumental architecture. It was a tangible expression of her authority, a testament to her piety, and a way to leave an indelible mark on the sands of time. Her reign ushered in a golden age of building, not seen since the Old Kingdom. Among her most ambitious projects was her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri. Carved into the cliffs on the west bank of the Nile, it was a masterpiece of design and engineering. Its elegant colonnades, soaring terraces, and intricate reliefs stood in stark contrast to the massive, often austere, funerary monuments of her predecessors. Hatshepsut's temple was not just a tomb, it was a celebration of her life and reign. The reliefs and inscriptions proclaimed her accomplishments, her piety, and her divine right to rule. It was a message etched in stone, intended to resonate for eternity. Beyond her grand architectural projects, Hatshepsut's reign was marked by peace and prosperity. She understood that a strong economy was the backbone of a powerful empire, and she focused on revitalizing trade networks that had been neglected during her predecessors' more war-mongering reigns. Under her rule, the Red Land, as the Egyptians called their desert lands, rejoiced. Caravans laden with gold, incense, ebony, and ivory from Nubia and Punt flowed steadily into Egypt, enriching the royal coffers and stimulating the economy. Hatshepsut also understood the importance of domestic tranquility. She commissioned irrigation projects, repaired dilapidated temples, and ensured the timely flooding of the Nile, the lifeblood of Egyptian agriculture, was carefully managed. Hatshepsut's ambition knew no bounds. She sought to surpass the achievements of her predecessors, to etch her name even deeper into the annals of Egyptian history. Nowhere was this ambition more evident than in her obsession with obelisks, towering stone monoliths that pierce the heavens. She ordered the quarrying and transportation of massive granite obelisks from the quarries at Aswan, a logistical feat that rivaled the construction of the pyramids themselves. These towering monuments, inscribed with her cartouches and titles, were erected at the sacred temple complex of Karnak. The erection of these obelisks was a symbolic act, connecting her reign with the divine. They were a testament to her power, her piety, and her unwavering belief in her own legitimacy as pharaoh. Perhaps the most celebrated achievement of Hatshepsut's reign was her legendary expedition to the Land of Punt. This mysterious land, believed to be located somewhere along the coast of the Red Sea, was a source of exotic goods and untold riches. Hatshepsut dispatched a fleet of 5 ships, laden with gifts for the rulers of Punt, to establish trade relations and secure access to valuable resources. The expedition returned laden with treasures, incense, ebony, ivory, gold, and even live myrrh trees, a prized commodity in ancient Egypt. The expedition to Punt was not just a commercial success, it was a propaganda coup. Hatshepsut ensured that every detail of the expedition was meticulously recorded on the walls of her temple at Deir el-Bahri. Hatshepsut's reign, though relatively short in the grand scheme of Egyptian history, left an indelible mark on the kingdom. Her monuments, her trade expeditions, and her bold self-promotion as pharaoh solidified her place as one of Egypt's most remarkable rulers. She broke down barriers, challenged societal norms, and proved that a woman could rule Egypt with the same authority and effectiveness as a man. Her legacy, however, would not be one of unchallenged adoration. Forces were at work, even during her lifetime, that sought to diminish her accomplishments and erase her memory from the historical record. The reasons for this remain shrouded in mystery, a puzzle that continues to fascinate historians and archaeologists to this day. Hatshepsut's reign, though marked by peace and prosperity, faced challenges. Seeds of doubt sown by those who resented her authority took root. Whispers grew louder, fueled by the winds of change. Her decision to rule as pharaoh was an affront to some. Traditionalists questioned her right to claim the authority of a king. The lines of succession had seemingly been breached. Her political maneuvering did not go unnoticed. The elevation of certain officials, the showering of gifts on key temples, and the constant reminders of her divine lineage were seen by some as signs of insecurity, a desperate attempt to solidify a reign built on shaky foundations. Thutmose III, relegated to the shadows while his stepmother ruled, grew into manhood. The boy who had once played in the palace gardens now yearned for the power that he believed was rightfully his. His ambition, nurtured by those who resented Hatshepsut's rule, festered like a wound denied air. Whispers of rebellion, like desert winds, swept through the palace halls. The military, eager for the glory of conquest that had defined earlier reigns, found a sympathetic ear in the young prince. The stage was set for a power struggle that would determine the fate of Egypt. Hatshepsut, ever vigilant, was not unaware of the growing dissent. She countered with a mix of diplomacy and ruthlessness. She appointed loyalists to key positions, strengthened her alliances with powerful priests, and ruthlessly crushed any hint of rebellion. The circumstances surrounding Hatshepsut's death remain shrouded in mystery. Some scholars believe she died of natural causes, her reign coming to a peaceful end. Others suspect foul play, a palace coup orchestrated by her ambitious stepson. What is certain is that following her death, a systematic effort was undertaken to erase her from history. Her statues were toppled, her cartouches chiseled from monuments, her name stricken from official records. The woman who had ruled Egypt for decades was seemingly condemned to oblivion. The motives behind this damnatio memoriae are still debated. Was it Thutmose III, settling old scores and consolidating his own legacy? Or were there other forces at play seeking to suppress the memory of a female pharaoh who had dared to challenge the patriarchal order? Despite the attempts to erase her, Hatshepsut's legacy endured. Her monuments, though defaced, still stood as a testament to her reign. Her story, passed down through whispers and legends, refused to be silenced. The desert sands, like a forgotten scroll, held the key to unlocking the secrets of her life and reign. In the 19th century, archaeologists, drawn by the allure of ancient Egypt, began to uncover the truth about Hatshepsut. Her monuments were painstakingly restored, her inscriptions deciphered, her story pieced together like fragments of a shattered mirror. The discovery of her sarcophagus, hidden deep within the Valley of the Kings, sent shockwaves through the archaeological world. Inside, however, lay not the mummified remains of the queen, but another mystery, another layer to the enigma that was Hatshepsut. The discovery of Hatshepsut's empty sarcophagus was a baffling twist in her already enigmatic story. It was found not in her grand mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri, but hidden away in a secret tomb in the Valley of the Kings, a place traditionally reserved for the burial of pharaohs. Why was her final resting place not amongst the splendor she had so carefully crafted for herself? Had her tomb been robbed in antiquity, her remains scattered and lost to the sands of time? Or was there a more deliberate reason, a darker motive behind the missing mummy? The absence of her mummy only deepened the mystery surrounding Hatshepsut's demise. Without the physical evidence, her cause of death, the circumstances of her burial, and the motives behind the desecration of her legacy remained frustratingly out of reach. The systematic erasure of Hatshepsut's name from monuments and official records points to a deliberate attempt to not just erase her memory, but to undermine her legitimacy as pharaoh. The most likely culprit, according to some historians, was Thutmose III, her stepson and successor. After enduring years on the sidelines while Hatshepsut ruled, Thutmose III embarked on a series of aggressive military campaigns, expanding the Egyptian empire and solidifying his own power. Was the desecration of Hatshepsut's memory an act of revenge? A way to legitimize his own claim to the throne by erasing the memory of his predecessor? Some scholars argue that Thutmose III, by removing Hatshepsut from the historical record, was attempting to establish a clear line of succession from his grandfather, Thutmose I, to himself, thereby solidifying his own dynastic legitimacy. While the theory of Thutmose III orchestrating a damnatio memoriae against Hatshepsut holds weight, other scholars propose a more nuanced scenario. They argue that her erasure was driven by factions within the court. Court officials, priests, and rival branches of the royal family, all vying for power and influence, could have capitalized on Hatshepsut's death. The removal of her name from monuments and records could have been a way to ensure a smooth transition of power. This theory suggests a more subtle form of power play, where Hatshepsut's memory was carefully edited out of history, as if she had never held the throne at all. The passage of millennia has obscured the true motives behind the attempts to erase Hatshepsut from history. Was it the act of a vengeful stepson, bitter over his delayed ascension to the throne, or a calculated move by factions within the court, seeking to consolidate power? The mystery of Hatshepsut's disappearance extends beyond her missing mummy and desecrated monuments. It speaks to the complexities of power and the fragility of legacy. The answers may lie buried beneath the sands of time, hidden within ancient temples, or locked away in forgotten stories. The quest to uncover the truth about Hatshepsut's fate continues to captivate historians and archaeologists, ensuring her story will continue to be told for generations. The sands of Egypt, always shifting, always whispering, held another secret. In 1903, a seemingly insignificant tomb, labeled KV-60, was discovered in the Valley of the Kings. It was dismissed as unimportant, its contents deemed unremarkable by the standards of pharaonic grandeur. Two mummies lay within, undisturbed for millennia. One, badly damaged, was assumed to be that of a royal nursemaid. The other, remarkably well preserved, was unidentified. The tomb, deemed insignificant, was resealed, its secrets once again swallowed by the desert. Decades passed and the sands whispered their secrets to the wind. Hatshepsut's story, pieced back together from fragmented monuments and defaced inscriptions, captivated the world. But the mystery of her missing mummy remained. In the late 20th century, advancements in DNA analysis revolutionized archaeology. The unidentified mummy from KV-60, long forgotten, was re-examined. Could this be the missing piece of Hatshepsut's puzzle? Scientists meticulously compared DNA extracted from the mummy to that of Hatshepsut's known relatives. The results sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. The mummy was a match. Hatshepsut had been found. The discovery was more than just the recovery of a missing mummy. It was a chance to come face to face with the woman behind the legend. Forensic reconstruction techniques, using the mummy's skull as a base, allowed experts to recreate Hatshepsut's likeness. The discovery of Hatshepsut's mummy in KV-60 raised more questions than it answered. Why was she buried in such an unassuming tomb, so different from the grandeur of her mortuary temple? And what did her remains reveal about the circumstances of her death? Analysis of the mummy revealed that Hatshepsut had suffered from a number of ailments in her later years, including arthritis and dental disease. She was also found to have an abscess in her jaw, which could have been fatal if left untreated. But it was the discovery of traces of a carcinogenic substance in her bones that offered the most intriguing clue. Hatshepsut, it seemed, had been poisoned. But by whom? And why? The discovery of poison in Hatshepsut's remains painted a dark and unsettling end to a reign marked by ambition and achievement. The woman who had risen to become pharaoh, commanded armies, and expanded Egypt's influence, met her end likely in her own palace, betrayed by someone close. Whispers of conspiracy took on a chilling reality. Was it Thutmose III seizing power, or a plot by those who chafed under her rule? The sands of time reveal some truths, but keep others guarded. The identity of Hatshepsut's poisoner remains out of reach. Her fate adds a layer of tragedy, reminding us that even the most powerful are not immune to betrayal. Despite attempts to erase her from history, Hatshepsut's legacy has endured. The monuments she built, though defaced, still stand as a testament to her ambition. Her story, once silenced, has been reclaimed. Hatshepsut is no longer a shadowy figure, but a ruler whose accomplishments are recognized. Hatshepsut's story resonates across millennia. She shattered the mold of what it meant to be a ruler in ancient Egypt. She was a builder, a warrior, a diplomat, a politician, and above all, a survivor. Her ambition and accomplishments inspire, her mystery intrigues, and her legacy challenges our understanding of the past. Hatshepsut, the woman who dared to become pharaoh, may have met an untimely end, but her memory, like the eternal flow of the Nile, continues to nourish our understanding of the past. She is Queen of the Nile, forever etched in history, a beacon for those who dare to dream beyond convention. Please like the video, subscribe to Untold Past, and ring the notification bell for more historical content.